human transportation, the only way to travel, horse and a boat. And then suddenly, a huge change. The train, the automobile, and the airplane. And society, in just 150 years, radically expands. We travel more, we know people, we go places. Higher trade, the world completely remade after a long period of no invention. The next big change in society is the internet. The global internet will be one of the biggest changes in society ever. And the global internet revolution is powered by fiber optics. A single fiber optic can carry 1 million megabit per second connections on a single fiber optic. And how big is a fiber optic? One human hair. One human hair, 1 million megabits per second. And as the world gets fiber optic to every town, eventually to every home, much like electricity over the last 100 years, then the global internet revolution will be in full bore. When you use Skype and you communicate with friends that don't live near you, when you use YouTube, get some enjoyment, a laugh. And on YouTube now, it's not just for laughs. On YouTube, you can learn chemistry. On YouTube, you can learn calculus at Khan Academy, and online learning on top of YouTube. Facebook, dramatic communication, stay in touch with your friends, feel a sense of community. Around the world, these applications are connecting human beings in new ways and bringing societies closer together. Netflix is one small part of that global internet. And what Netflix is trying to do is collect the best of the world's content and make it available to the world's citizens at a very low price. Why don't I show you a little bit about Netflix? Netflix is online. Anyone can visit netflix.com and try Netflix for free. So when you get questions, what's Netflix? You just have to say, try Netflix for free. Anybody can try it for free. With Netflix, it's very simple. There's incredible content to watch, thousands and thousands of hours of content. You can scroll through it, you can search, amazing amounts of content. But the most amazing part is the streaming. We have developed amazing technology to make streaming work on little internet connections, 1 megabit connections, a 0.5 megabit connection, or to go all the way up to high definition. Let me show you when I click on Finding Nemo, an easy classic favorite. I'll count. 1, 2. And if you prefer maybe this title to go in English, you just switch it to English. Back and forth, any language you want, any subtitles you want. Now, if I leave that on, you won't pay attention to me, so we're going to turn that off. There are just thousands and thousands of titles. Now, Netflix is great, but if it was great and very expensive, that's just frustrating. But Netflix is incredibly inexpensive, 99 pesos a month. And 99 pesos is not a temporary price. It's the wrong time price. In the United States, it's also about the same price, $8, and we've had that price since we began streaming. So what we try to do is to have lots of subscribers so that we can afford to license lots of content and then distribute it broadly at a very low price. And we're trying to get the best content from around the world, the best Mexican cinema, but not just for Mexico. We want to carry the best Mexican cinema for the whole world, for the United States, for Canada, for Argentina. We want to carry the best content from Canada and have it be globally available. So what we're trying to do is expand to be a global company, like Skype or YouTube, and like that, have amazing content. You would be surprised, Japanese anime, how popular it is. Hindi Bollywood films with amazing dancing. Maybe you've never seen many of them. But when they're on Netflix, you're going to be able to watch them. Great Russian films, great Australian TV shows. And again, for Mexican producers, we create a global market. Partially because the language is selectable and the subtitles are selectable. For most entertainment companies, they're broadcasters, so they have to choose. Do we dub or do we subtitle, which languages? With Netflix, we can offer all of it and let the consumer choose. So someday, great Mexican telenovelas will be very popular in Turkey with Turkish subtitles. And that is part of what Netflix can do in connecting the global economy. Now, I showed you Netflix on a laptop, and it works very well. But it also works well on a PS3, on an Xbox, on a Nintendo Wii. And now, it's the beginning of the smart TVs. Just as smartphones have changed the mobile phone market, smart TVs are poised to change the television market. And a smart TV has Wi-Fi built in. Samsung today, we have some demonstrations to show you, built in. Samsung TVs available in Mexico today with Netflix built in. Right from the Samsung remote control, you click and you watch. Now, one of the advantages of internet television is that it's click and watch, on demand. So it's your schedule, not the schedule of the broadcaster. But the other big advantage is personalization. When you start to use Netflix, Netflix learns what kind of movies and TV shows you like. So if you are watching lots of family comedies, then the screen becomes filled with family comedies with great suggestions. If you like horror films, vampires, then Netflix will find more and more of them to offer you suggestions of what you like. So that ability to be a personal TV channel is amazing as you use Netflix. And again, anyone can try Netflix for free. Now, many times, people wonder, with all this video on the internet, won't the internet grind to a halt? Or won't it become very slow? The internet has been amazing in its growth over the last 20 years, driven by new technologies like fiber optic, going out farther and farther. For an ISP that has DSL or cable service, they have many packages. Typically, there's a 2 megabit package. Maybe that's 300 or 400 pesos. And then there's a faster package, 5 megabits, and maybe it's 500 pesos. So an ISP would like its customers to go to the higher package, 5 megabit package for 500 pesos. But why should a consumer do that? Because of video. Internet video, like YouTube and Skype video and Netflix, are an ISP's best friend for driving more packages at higher speeds. It's because of video that consumers are changing to higher speeds. In the United States, we've been streaming for a few years. And initially, the ISPs, like Time Warner Cable, did not like Netflix, very suspicious. What will this mean, the costs, everything. And now, companies like Charter and Time Warner Cable are embracing Netflix because they see that their customers are paying more for higher bandwidth, higher speed packages to be able to get Netflix, YouTube, Skype, Hulu, all the video packages. And that internet video is causing ISPs to get more revenue and sell more package. Internet video is the killer application driving adoption across broad society. So to summarize, we've been trapped in the United States for 10 years, waiting for broadband to build. We've always wanted to be a global company with the world's content for the world's citizens. And finally now, with the growth of broadband across the world, we are able to celebrate offering our service across all of Latin America, and in particular, Mexico. With that, why don't I open it up for questions and go from there. Thank you.
Déjeme presentar Julio Gil de Elmen, que va a trabajar en una conferencia de prensa. Por favor, dinos su nombre y el nombre del medio.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Cynthia Barrera from Reuters. I have a couple of questions, if you will. Regarding the broadband, that is a big problem here in the country. How do you think that the company may be able to overcome? There are some providers that do indeed offer higher speeds, but most of the people, the average people, consumer of broadband in Mexico, has this problem with downloads. And a second question, how many customers do you think you could get during your first year of operation in Mexico? And the portfolio, is it going to be the same content that is available currently in the US? Thank you.
With broadband, it's growing rapidly and getting faster and faster. 10 years ago, 2001, we were all on dial-up instead of broadband. And the internet has gotten much faster. And it will continue to get faster. Today, it can be slow at times. If you can use YouTube, and you don't have to wait too long, then you can use Netflix. Netflix only requires about half a megabit. So it's in all of the packages sold. And each consumer will have to try it, and they can try it for free. In terms of the content availability, most of it is the same for all from Canada down to Patagonia. Some of it is different. For example, we were able to license The Godfather in Latin America, but in the United States, HBO licensed it and we couldn't get it. So there's some variation that way. But most of the content, like Mad Men and others, is across all of Latin America. And we've got thousands of hours to explore for the consumers. Other part of the question was, how many subscribers are we hoping to get? We know we're going to lose money for a while. We have to pay for the content and we have to pay for the marketing. And when you only charge 99 pesos, it takes a lot of subscribers to get to profitability. So we're hopeful that within 2 years, we can get enough subscribers to get to profitability.
Hi, Jonathan Hernandez, Periódico Reforma. Why Silverlight? Why are you using Silverlight for the streaming?
On each device, we use different technology that's native technology for that device to be able to do the digital rights management. So on PS3, we use one type of format, on Xbox, another format. And on Windows PCs and Apple Macintoshes, we use Silverlight. It's an easy technology that's built in, and it's really the only DRM solution on an Apple for a third-party provider that can't get access to Fairplay. In addition, we're always evolving and improving the technology. For example, the Netflix iPad application, we're doing a lot of work on now and making that even better than it's ever been. And that's one that has its own custom DRM.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Gerardo Sánchez de CNN en español. El costo que ustedes están proponiendo es un muy buen precio para aquí en México. ¿Cuándo entrarían ustedes en función aquí en México?
8 hours ago.
Okay.
So when you go home today, you can try Netflix for free. Thank you.
Bueno, Oscar Machado, de la revista Alto Nivel. En México hay algo así como 30 millones de usuarios en Internet, hay 6 millones de suscriptores en televisión de paga. Mi pregunta es, ¿cuál será la competencia de Netflix aquí en México? ¿Competirán contra los suscriptores, contra las cableras de Internet? Y usted dice que en 2 años van a perder dinero. ¿Se puede suponer que a partir del tercer año va a ser Netflix tener números ya con ganancias?
Yes, we hope in the third year to get more in revenue from subscribers than our costs for the content, which is the major cost, and marketing, which is less of a cost. Those are the 2 big costs. So it's an investment in getting started. And what we see with YouTube and Facebook and Skype is that many, many Mexican people are using the internet very actively. And so we're optimistic that we'll be able to continue to grow at this very low price.
Eduardo Aguilar, por favor, me describe la campaña de mercadotecnia que tendrá para México específicamente. La campaña de mercadotecnia que realizará en México para dar a conocer el producto.
Yes, we're advertising on television and in online banners. So those are the 2 main areas, not radio or outdoor. The main focus is television ads and online.
Pablo Berruecos de One Digital. ¿Cuándo veremos otros dispositivos aparte de los que ya están mencionando?
Mobile devices with iPhone and iPad, we have that working today in the United States, and we're extending that application to work through Latin America. And that'll be ready in about 60 days, so very soon. And also Android and all of the Android phones, 2.2 and 2.3 and beyond. So most of the Android market. In addition, many TVs from other manufacturers besides Samsung exist today. It's in the marketplace, but many others who compete with Samsung are rapidly building in the Netflix global application into their televisions for smart TVs. So soon it will be all the smart TVs, it will be the game consoles, and all of the dedicated Blu-ray devices.
Hola, David Ochoa, de My Podcast. How often does Netflix have new content?
New content? We're constantly adding new content. If I look, we launched in Canada 1 year ago, and we've more than doubled the content that we have available in Canada in just 1 year. So that's a lot because we've started very strong here in Mexico. We have a lot of content, but we're going to try to rapidly grow the amount of content. The only content that we can't really get are current season television, so the shows that you would see on Televisa today, and also new release movies. And that's why we can offer the low price, because we don't have, our service is not a replacement for cable or satellite, because we don't have the newest TV shows or the newest movies or sports or news. And so in the United States, we've grown to over 25 million subscribers, and yet cable and satellite have continued to grow. So Netflix is really complementary. It's like an additional channel, an additional network for a consumer, rather than a replacement for something else. And that's, again, what we've seen in the United States, where Netflix is very established and very large, that cable and satellite video have continued to grow. And that's because with the new releases, sports and news programming.
From parentheses.com. How many subscribers do you already have? How many Mexican subscribers? And how many Mexican subscribers do you expect in the next 6 months?
We're not sure. We just started 8 hours ago, so today not so bad. We're not sure how many we'll have in 6 months or 12 months. Because of the internet, the speeds, payment methods, and we're unknown in Mexico. We're just beginning. But what we're confident of is over 5 and 10 years, broadband internet and video over the internet will be as popular as the mobile phone today. 15 years ago, very few people had mobile phones. Then a lot more 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even more, and now everybody has a mobile phone. Broadband is like that, but we're 15 years ago. So it will be, every year, broadband will continue to grow. It'll get cheaper, faster, more subscribers, and that will help Netflix. So we're not sure about the short term. The long term, we're very confident in that internet video will be a huge opportunity for consumers to choose and get what they want.
Otra vez Pablo Berruecos de One Digital. ¿Qué tanto afecta el trato o el contrato que tienen ustedes con Televisa y Televisión Azteca en cuestión del contenido que se va a estar manejando, por ejemplo, en las series de televisión? ¿Tienen algún, es decir, van a estar transmitiéndose las mismas series o la misma temporada de esa serie dependiendo del contrato, o cuál fue realmente el trato que tienen con las televisoras?
Each TV network, like Televisa or Globo in Brazil, makes a separate decision. Do they feel comfortable licensing to Netflix, making money for that, or not yet? In the United States, when we launched streaming, we really only had one network, ABC. And now, 3 or 4 years later, as everybody sees that Netflix is an additional channel and has not taken away from cable and satellite, now NBC, Fox, CBS, all of them are licensing lots of content to Netflix. So similarly, in Latin America and in Mexico, we have to get started with as much content as we can from local producers. But sometimes it'll take some time, and maybe they license us in the beginning, older shows that have telenovelas that have been completed and run through, or things, to see how it goes. And our job is to make them so much money that they want to license us more and more content. And in terms of the specific shows, I mean, we've got thousands of hours from Televisa, TV Azteca, and from many others.
Buenos días, Susana Mendieta del periódico Milenio, por acá. La pregunta es, más o menos, ¿cuánta es la inversión que hacen al abrir un nuevo mercado? Y en este caso, en Latinoamérica, además, ¿qué países esperarían tengan una más rápida respuesta ante esta oferta?
This calendar year, 2011, we will be investing about $70 million in content and in marketing. And so it's a big investment that way. In terms of the markets, we're really just beginning. But Netflix adoption usually follows broadband adoption. That is, the more a given country has more broadband subscribers, the better that Netflix does.